Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Anything Goes with Megabossdad. And
Creepy Corey.
so today's episode, we are filming live, we are streaming live, and I am going to be inviting Audrey to the show. And basically, what today's show is about is it's essentially what women want. What women want. It's about getting inside a woman's psyche about men and what they want from a man. And as you have questions, if you have any questions, um, feel free to ask anything and we'll see if she can answer them. So let's see if I can get Audrey on here. So basically, what I did was I essentially just put out a post like saying, hey, who wants to join this tonight? We are essentially just doing a very impromptu podcast. And, that's pretty much it. Just seeing who wanted to join. And she was the first one that said, hey, I'll join. So that's how it's going to be.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
And here she is. Hi, Audrey.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm Mike, and this is Corey.
I'm Corey.
Right. I'm Audrey. I'm a middle school English teacher and a new podcaster myself, actually. I just started running a podcast called Lightscameraanalysis on film analysis. But I love rom-coms, and I've been dating my wonderful boyfriend for 2.5 years now. So I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And can you, if you have a few minutes here, if you can tell us a little bit, we'll give you a chance here, go into details about your podcast and everything like that, what you've been up to over these past few months here, interesting months. So.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I started teaching remotely. I moved back in with my family to get out of the city for a little bit because I teach in New York City. So I went up to Westchester. I started teaching from there. I'm also doing my master's online at Harvard right now. So I've been wrapping that up. So it's been stressful. It's a lot of screens for me. And then I've been long distance with my boyfriend for a while. So for me, that transition has been kind of fine. But I did get a dog not very long before quarantine. So he's been getting me through it.
Aww.
He's an elderly man, but he has more energy than I do most of the time. And then he gets very, very sleepy.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you said you're in the New York City area?
Yeah, I'm back in New York City now. I'm kind of up in East Harlem, which is where I've been teaching. I'm going to be moving to Brooklyn next year because I'll be teaching there next year.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
So I have a very important question for you.
I'm ready.
Since you're from New York. So, baseball.
I'm pro Red Sox. My mom is from the Boston area. So
good.
Don't tell any New Yorkers, but that is my preference for team. And my friends growing up were Mets fans because they liked an underdog. So there was no conflict.
Oh, good.
Fine with the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets. Yeah, the Mets I'm okay with. I could take that. So, obviously up in this area so I'm actually in southern New Hampshire, right on the Mass border. And I'm from Mass, but I moved up to New Hampshire 5-6 years ago, and Corey's still in Mass. So
I've lived in Mass for 3 years.
He's actually from
Vermont.
Yep. So
okay. I was in so I also went to Harvard for undergrad, so I was there the last 4 years, and I was just texting with my friends because we really miss it. And I got way too addicted to Tate while I was there, which was so overpriced and so bougie, but very addictive.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So I'm just taking a minute here. I'm shooting some links out since we're going live to a couple people, and I'm just trying to. So basically tonight, it's like I said. So just so people know, we've never met, we've never spoken before. This was essentially we had a quick change of plans tonight. So I'm like, well, we got to do something. So what can we do? What's a good idea to do? So I'm like, well, let's just throw it out there. And, since essentially guys think that they know everything about women and, you know how it is, we know everything and, we've read the book. And so, and obviously what we know is completely way off base. So, so it's kind of like a, very impromptu, like, it's like that movie, Mel Gibson, What Women Want. You ever see that?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, great movie. So he thinks he knows what women want. He knows everything about women. He's a real ladies' man. Well, essentially he gets electrocuted and then he can hear women's thoughts.
Oh, I have to see it.
It's an older movie, probably about 15, 20 years old. But he finds out that all these women that he thought liked him or whatever he thought about women, he was completely way off base. And essentially they all thought that he was a schmuck. So it's kind of like that there. So where I'm just essentially just kind of see what women look for in men. What do they hate about men? What, just something like that, So so if you could, and then Corey's got notes. He's going to be taking notes here. So
yeah, I can spit some facts. So I think that first and foremost, I think that communication is super, super important and undervalued. I think that that's a large part of why my relationship right now has been successful, is I think it's really important to be very straightforward. A lot of women have a tendency to like hyper dissect what men say in text messages and that kind of thing. So I think just being very concrete and clear is really helpful to make sure that like you know what's going on, someone knows what like you're asking for and the expectations you're setting, especially since like I think everybody's known that fuckboy who like tries to pretend that they're like, you're not like other girls. Like I think anything along those lines. I know people who have been in like ambiguous situations for 1+ years. And it's just like, you got to be super transparent about what you want and like where you're at and how you're feeling. And I think that's just like, to me, one of the most important things, because regardless like of who you are and what your personality is and what you need, like the thing that is most important with a relationship of any kind is like that clarity to me, which is why like I try to be super clear, even though I know a lot of people who are very bad at that. And I also like I'm super non-confrontational, and my boyfriend is very non-confrontational, but he's a great communicator. And him being a really good communicator has made it a lot easier for me to be like, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is like where we're at. And I think like if you're used to women not telling you what they want and playing mind games and that kind of thing, communication to me is like the trick to evading that and being like, okay, once they see that you're straightforward and like where you're at, it's a lot easier for them to accept, oh, okay, this is how I can like be myself. I also think you need to come in day one with who you are into situations. Like I think it's important with friends, but it's similar with romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in the like hide ugly me until like month 2. I'm like, here's me in sweatpants, like here's me in this situation, and I think like have the same expectations for your partner that you would want them to have for you. Don't come in like looking like trash and expect them to be like anyone. I think that is a huge part of like what happens is men get away with like not doing shit, and then women are out here like slaying the game and not getting any credit for it. So like that to me, those are like really big.
Yeah, that's definitely I'll say, as much as I hate to admit, and I don't know if she's watching right now, my wife, she she's definitely the backbone here. you know, she doesn't get the credit she deserves, and but yeah, shut up, Corey. But she's awesome. She takes care of so many things here. I work a lot more hours, but she takes care of the house, the kids, and it's definitely a thankless job.
Yeah, and I think it's the invisible labor that starts like early with things like who gets to pick where the dates are, who is figuring out like the intricate little details, to eventually who makes the shopping list, who cleans the house, who takes care of the kids, who knows what they want for Christmas, like little things that get dropped.
Yeah.
I think make it really easy to feel undervalued. So just being able to try to see those things and try to do little things to make it easier, but also just like acknowledging them, I think is really big.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where like we are not trained to see that kind of labor. It makes it so much harder to be like, oh yeah, like my partner is putting in so much effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so what is the biggest turnoff that a guy can do?
To me, like if someone is blatantly sexist, racist, homophobic, any of that kind of shit, like I just am like, I don't want to talk to you. I have no interest. This is not where we're at. If someone tries to neg me, no, I have the confidence in me. I'm not gonna put up with that. And I think that like it is not gonna lead to a healthy relationship to do something like that. But I think eyebrows are more important than they should be. I do not like bad brows. They that I feel a little bit bad about, but that's something I feel very strongly about.
No, makes sense. So like I think the biggest perception that guys have on women is that we have to be like these macho men, high testosterone, in shape, ripped,
Yeah.
And there was recently a study that I follow that said that women now actually prefer the dad bod.
Yes, there has been that shift. Well, I think it's also just like security in your own masculinity is so attractive. And insecurity in your own masculinity is really unattractive. Like, I think that that's part of where, like, bigotry being a turnoff to me is similar, where it's like, if somebody owns who they are, they do not need, like, a six-pack and a leather jacket and a motorcycle.
Right.
I think that all that stuff can be really cool, but if you can just own who you are and not be scared of a powerful woman or cleaning or wearing whatever it is, and you don't have to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. Like, I don't think like someone needs to be like, I need to stop going to the gym and get a dad bod. Although, like, by all means, live your best life. I think it's just about like that security is sexy. Like, I think that there's just like something about somebody who knows who they are and is confident in who they are that like is significantly more attractive than somebody who's like, oh, like I don't know, because I have to be at the gym and like I have to figure all this stuff out just so that I can like be the ideal. Because societal standards are already being pushed on women in a way that I think makes a lot of women, as a person who's bisexual, I think people who make themselves small of any gender, like that is not something that I find cute.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's one thing I've always, both of us, we've always been very, you are what you are.
Yeah.
And it's the fact is, you can't, I don't believe, help who you're attracted to.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And nor should anyone be, looked at differently or penalized or held against them because of anything like that.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely friggin' ignorant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if that happens. You know, and I think some of this misconception on what is expected for guys to look
Yeah.
is based a lot on like Hollywood
Exactly.
and
Totally.
magazines. They have this ideal person, men, women, everywhere, and that's what they put out there. This is the ideal image.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it makes it harder for people themselves, I think, to feel sexy, which also, like, that's not nice. Like, I think that's part of it is, like, if you are trying to subscribe so hard to magazines in Hollywood, like, you're never going to look like that. I'm never going to be Jennifer Lawrence. I know that. I accept it. I love Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's hot. But, like, that's just not in the cards, and that's fine for me. So I think that, like, being able to be cool with where you're at and secure with where you're at is so important. Also, just because if you don't feel comfortable with where you are, how can you expect somebody else to accept you where you are?
Right.
Like, I think that Hollywood, unfortunately, just like makes so much money off of making people feel bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. So there's a question that someone asked, and I'm really curious who this person is because I find this question funny. And I don't know if you know this person, Corey. Let's see here. Can you see that?
Someone works in student department and they're talking to very small Italian male operations managers. Is there an issue with it? You know, I think people can be into whoever they're into. To me, I'm very short. I don't care about height. I think that, like, I've seen guys, I'm 5'2". If a guy's 5'4", there have been guys who have been like, yes. And then people have been like, he was so short. And I was like, he was short. He was taller than me. I don't see, like, so I think she can go for it. But I think if you're the manager, you can't go for it because sexual harassment and, like, you don't want to, careful with those lines.
Yeah.
But I think she should own it. Like, both of them Italians. I love pasta. My boyfriend's part Italian. He makes great meatballs. I make pasta. It's delicious.
So he has great meatballs, huh? So I have a feeling that this person knows you, Corey, because
I have no idea who that is.
I gotta show you this.
What the hell? For shorter, older women?
That's very specific. I feel like within Vermont is an unnecessary container, but
I have no idea who that is.
Well, they know you, apparently. So
And what was that about my bag?
is
or a bag?
They said, is it a fetish or just his bag, like your bag of chips, like your
what you like.
your cup of tea, your
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Was that his roommate? Trevor asked, was that his roommate? Oh, I don't know if I could put this. So Clapped the Clown said specifically named, and they put a person's name on there.
Who? All right, this person definitely knows me, but I have no idea who they are.
So does Clapped the Clown want to identify themselves?
I like getting the tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this Kathy lady was my roommate.
Oh.
But she moved out.
So I did Google a couple things here. And I literally Googled questions that some of the most daring questions that guys are afraid to ask.
I'm ready.
All right, let's see. Why do women get so much satisfaction out of cuddling?
Oh, it's just nice. You feel love. It's like, when my boyfriend's not here, so I snuggle with my dog when it's not too hot. I just think that there's something nice about like. I also think that like there are love languages, and my love language is like touch, and I think that there's something really comforting about like somebody knowing that you're there in the same way that like if somebody puts a hand on your shoulder when you're sad, it's comforting.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just like really comforting to be. A snuggle is just a very long hug that's just like I care about you.
That's how I feel. It's like a security blanket in a way
Yeah.
too. Like it, you know, makes you feel safe and
Exactly.
I know my wife's a big cuddler.
Women aren't the only one either. I love cuddling.
Are you the big spoon or the little spoon?
Whatever.
All right, so let's see. Why do women go to bathroom in groups?
I think there are multiple reasons. I think that it probably started for safety reasons, to be honest. I think that like just being a woman alone can be unsafe. But I also think it's like it's fun to chat with people while you go to the bathroom. Like you talk on the walk over. Sometimes you talk about the people that you're with. You talk on the way back. There's like a camaraderie to it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see. The other question was, why do women turn into irritable Jekyll and Hyde during their period?
Okay, so imagine that you had, I don't know that there's any time that this happens to men, like an insane amount of testosterone pumped into you and you felt like you needed to punch things. Like hormone imbalances feel so horrible. Like it's just, and if you are one of the people who has PMS and you have like an influx of estrogen that makes you feel horrible and you don't know why you feel horrible, like it's like it must be this thing or that thing or this other thing. Like it's a terrible emotional place to be. And then there's also like I get horrific period cramps. Like it feels like someone's repeatedly stabbing me in the stomach. So when I'm in that place, I'm like, anybody be mean to me and I will fight you. Like, do not be mean to me right now. Yeah. And then there's like blood, and you're like, if I stain my sheets, I have to buy new sheets. Do I need a new mattress if that happens? So you have like all of that to balance. Yeah. And there's another person, and you're like, don't fuck with me. That to me is why periods make people life harder. Both the people who are having them and the people who are around them.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
What is the best thing to buy a woman when it is that time?
Okay. So in theory, it's chocolate. Because chocolate also has like, what's it called? I think it releases like either serotonin or dopamine. I think it's dopamine, which like makes you happy. So if you want to make a woman happy, like literally give her chocolate. And it will literally make her happy. Unfortunately, eating foods with sugar or fat is also really bad for you if you're on your period. So it will probably make them feel worse eventually, but they probably are also craving chocolate. Like a lot of people crave chocolate when they're on their period. So I would say probably still go for it, even though it's a bad idea. But if someone has like cramps or something, ice pack, heat pack is nice, or like just something that you know that's like little that they can look at that will distract them and make them happy with you and like, give them a distraction. Distractions are always great when you're in pain.
I definitely didn't see you taking notes on that one, Corey. So let's see. So Trevor asks, is trying a throuple a bad idea?
I mean, you do, bro.
A throuple, isn't that just like a regular threesome?
No, it's 3 people in a long-term commitment with each other.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Instead of a couple, a throuple. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Sounds like very difficult to balance and like a lot of attention. And like you need to figure out how to make sure that nobody is insecure at any point. But like they can try and get back to us because I know it has been successful for some people, but it's like that sounds very difficult.
I think it's steer clear because eventually it's going to create some kind of issue down the road or jealousy or, you know, Yeah, I say just steer clear. So Trevor, stay away from that. Let's see. What do women store in their handbags? That is a great question because so many women have these suitcases.
Everyone should have it. It's wonderful. I like to have, well, you have to have period products for yourself and friends. You should have a pen because it's always good to have a pen. Paper because you need to write something down with it. Your wallet. I like to have sunglasses, and then I use these blue light glasses like a nerd so that I can look at screens without getting a migraine. I always have painkillers for myself and others. It's not a bad idea to like keep mints with you, gum with you, like a snack for yourself and others. Like it ends up being a water bottle is great. Like I think anything that you could possibly need at a given time, I just like to carry with me at all times.
So it's like an overnight bag for the daytime, basically.
Yeah, for everywhere. Some people I know have like hairbrushes. I don't wear makeup, but people I know who wear makeup sometimes carry makeup stuff with them.
Neither do I.
Would it rain? Yeah. You don't need it.
I did once.
How'd it go?
Scary.
We did a murder mystery.
With makeup always. It takes
yeah.
I've been told.
Well, we did a interactive murder mystery over Zoom, and the character I was a woman. So I figured I'm like I am going all out. I like hookered my makeup.
Oh my god.
You know, bright red lipstick, like red wig, and
no big movies. You go to Sephora and you say, "Do me over," and they're like, "I got you," and they put so much makeup on. But they do it for free. I think a lot of the time too, because when you get products.
That sounds like a challenge that we can do with Corey here. We're gonna take you to Sephora and say,
wait till quarantine's over, so you can mentally prepare yourself.
Exactly. You want to do it, Corey?
Let's do it.
All right, it's on. We will do it.
By the way, he looked like Trailer Park Misty from Pokemon. I don't know if you've ever saw that or not, but
no, I haven't. Trailer Park Misty from what?
Trailer Park
Misty from Pokemon.
I haven't heard that. My brother loved Pokemon, but I was not as big of a fan. I didn't start watching like cartoony shows until Rick and Morty, and now I'm obsessed.
Let's see here. Going through.
Why do women never like to choose the restaurant?
That is an excellent question.
I have two responses. One is that I think that a lot of women want to make it like easy, and they want to be like, I'm so chill, like you can decide. I don't care. Like I don't want to be like too over dominant. I'm really picky, so I pick the restaurant every time because it is very important to me where we eat because I love food. But I know a lot of people who it's just like they don't want to pick something the cat's not going to like. They don't want to seem like overbearing or emasculate somebody. So they're like, he decides. And they also, it's a test sometimes to be like, can he figure out what I want? How much does he care about me? How many dollar signs does he care about me?
Because what I feel, that's a good point. I never thought of that. Because the thing I notice is when I hear, oh, I don't care, you choose. And then I name something. No, I don't want that. Okay, how about that? No, I don't want that. And I go through like 4 things, and then she'll be like, no, I don't really want that. So I'm like, then you pick, you know?
And it's like, sometimes then it's also just like, I want you to be able to feel like you have a choice, but there is no choice.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for you to guess the one that I know, and if you know me well enough, you're going to guess it. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, do guys really know only some of the excitable spots on the female body?
Yes. But they can learn. So you should ask the woman that you're with to tell you what she likes and be very clear, and it will be fun. Mm-hmm. I think it's also just it's harder for women than it is for men. It's less obvious.
Yeah, true. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Why are women into guys' butts?
Well, why are men into girls' butts?
Because they're perfect. They're beautiful.
Some guys have beautiful butts.
All right,
It's person by person.
so do women like the bubbly? Do they like firm, small,
I think
saggy?
I think definitely not saggy. I think like a nice booty on any gender is good. I think equal buttage to me is preferable. Just get the squats in, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. This one actually drives me nuts too. But why does a left up toilet seat bother women that much?
Well, okay. So you know how if you look at a left up toilet seat, there's like the ring of urine on disgusting. Who wants to touch them?
Yeah,
and it's your urine. Like it's not our urine. It's like from y'all, from like peeing on the seat and then it touching it. Why do I want to touch men's pee? So that I can urinate. It's like your fault that you needed to pee that way. Like so that would be, in my opinion, why I dislike it. I know some people also have fallen in because they were not paying good enough attention like the middle of the night. That's a little traumatic to me. I haven't had that experience. I'm very careful. But I think both of those are pretty big reasons.
Yeah, makes sense.
I've had my own bathroom now for the past 3 years, and my toilet seat is always down.
Mine too.
Unless, of course, I'm using it.
I'm a stickler for putting down the seat and the lid every time. And then,
I'm so scared of like dropping a toothbrush or something in there because I'm very clumsy. So I'm like, I can't let anything like that happen.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got my phone in once, twice in a row. It's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
So tampons are nice because it's not like wearing a diaper. Pads are nice because you don't have to worry about getting toxic shock syndrome, which is dangerous. So, and if you bleed a lot, you wear both at the same time, which is sad. But you can't wear a tampon at night unless you like wake up halfway through the night because toxic shock syndrome just sounds horrific, and like you can't wear it for longer than 8 hours, or it's like dangerous. Yeah.
I'd be so worried about like it getting stuck. Losing it. It's gone forever.
I know someone who forgot a tampon inside of her.
Oh.
And that's why, like, an entire school stopped giving out tampons because she got a tampon stuck inside of her. And, like, that's a huge risk for toxic shock syndrome. So they were like, pads only from now on.
Yep. No, it makes sense. It sounds
awful.
Why do women spend so much time in the shower?
Oh, it's so nice to be in the shower. The warm water. Also, it can take a really long time to shave. Because, like, I'm not careful enough, and then I cut myself every time I shave my legs. So, like, people who are better at taking care of themselves take longer showers because they're, like, meticulously shaving their entire legs and underarms and stuff. Yeah, because just imagine you had to shave your face without a mirror very carefully in the shower. That's basically what it is, but for your legs and underarms.
Oh, I can't do that. I need a mirror. I'm like I'm right up against the mirror looking at every angle.
That's why there's always like that patch of hair on somebody's legs where you're like, fuck, I missed that patch.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, this one's kind of an easy one. What does I'm fine really mean? So to me, I'm fine means I'm not fine, but I don't want to talk right now, so just stay the hell away from me. And you better know what the problem is and fix it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely also, it like varies person by person. Usually that's what it means for me. When I say I'm fine, it's usually like I'm really pissed off.
Yeah.
Don't even look at me. I'm really angry right now, and I need to not be near people or talk about this. But I also think that's where like communication comes in, where it's like building, like I don't do that to my boyfriend anymore. Because I just think like if you can get to the place where you're accurately telling people how you feel, that's really important. But like, I'm fine, I think for some people means I'm not fine and I don't want to talk about it right now. And I'm fine for some people means I'm not fine and I really want you to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
And that's like a really important distinction because you don't want to ignore it and then someone be like, motherfucker, you don't even care how I feel.
That's like, it reminds me, I always, when my wife says, "Oh, I'm fine," I cite a line from a movie. I think it was The Italian Job. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Oh, I like that.
So whenever she says I'm fine, I'm like, oh, so you're freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional? But yeah. So there you go, Corey. There's a challenge for you.
I haven't wore cologne to work in the past few months.
Oh, bullshit.
I haven't.
Then you permanently smell like your cologne. So
I just smell good.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so does size matter? And I guess there'll be a follow-up to that. What is the ideal? And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
I don't know what the ideal is, but I do think that like size changes things, but you should know how to use what you have. Because if you know how to do what you're supposed to be doing, it probably doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Because but you need to like master it. Like you should have figured it out, or like work with somebody to figure out the best way to do it with what you've got, because you can't really change it. You can't. There's no boob job for penises, but like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, you don't need a huge ship. You just got to know how to drive the boat.
Yeah.
Are you writing that one down, Corey?
No.
It looks like you're writing that one down. And, oh, is that? Oh, shit. I think that was, well, I don't know if this, you don't have kids, do you?
I do not.
Okay, well then this wouldn't work. It's what does breastfeeding feel like?
I don't know. I am also curious.
Me too. My wife wants to hook me up to one of those labor machines.
Oh my god, I am so.
Let's do it.
It sounds so painful. So
we should do it.
Basically, sounds so hard. Like I have back problems. I recently got a backpack so I can carry my dog on my back, and it hurts. And like carrying around a baby for 9 months and then being in extreme pain does not sound like something I want to do. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, she's dying. I want to try it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we got to find a machine to rent. Maybe we should do that and post that on here. So I think that would
be in my makeup.
Yeah, that is true. We'll do them both the same day.
I'll get the makeup first and then do.
You'll have hair running down your cheeks.
Yep.
Yep.
You did this to me, you son of a bitch.
All right, so oh, this is weird. Why do you pepper spray me so often? What?
So I've never used pepper spray, but a friend of mine was like, I really want to see what it's like. I'm going to try it out. So he and his friend pepper sprayed each other. And they came and visited, and they were like still crying.
Don't give him ideas.
You've been tased, Corey.
Several times.
We should try the pepper spray next.
Nope.
I recommend, so don't spray it directly into somebody's eyes. Spray it directly above. So at least it's just a little bit, because that's what they did, and they were still like dying.
All right. Let's see. That makes sense. Do you really find attractive guys cute and romantic when an ugly one doing the same thing is creepy? Or
no? I think I know what this is saying. This is like, so in rom-coms they have all of these like attractive guys being really creepy and like persistent when the girl says no, and like Twilight stalking her, like That's not cute. I do not like that.
Right.
Like, I've had a guy bike around the block 7 times being like, you want to come to dinner? No, I don't care if you're cute. That's really strange. Don't do
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, I'm not gonna be on a bike, so
Yeah.
that was the only part that was creepy, actually.
that would yeah. Why is it that guys, and I haven't read these questions ahead of time, so I'm trying to like understand them as I'm reading them. Some of them are worded weird. I can tell you. That's weird. Sorry, this guy I got an old bag of clothes from you. It smelled like an Abercrombie store.
all right. Just so you guys know, that's I can tell you what it tastes like. All right, that's my brother.
Is it?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
When he was here visiting me for a weekend, I ended up giving him a bag of clothes that I don't wear anymore.
Okay.
I'm sure it did smell like an Abercrombie store. Not gonna lie.
Right.
So, why is it that guys have to pretend not to be interested in you for you to like them? In my experience, the less interest you show to a girl, the more she wants you. It doesn't make sense to me. I like you, okay. Why do I have to pretend that I don't?
I think it's person dependent. So I'm not into that. I like it when people like me. I think that's much cuter. But I do know people who like to play hard, like it when people play hard to get, in part because it shows that like it's a challenge. Like I know some people who like that they have won a prize in the same way that like some guys like a chase, right?
Yep.
Like people like a chase sometimes just to feel like they earned it, and like that's the part that's exciting. I think that to me that's more lust than like love. I don't think that like playing hard to get is going to land you necessarily somebody who's like really into you. It's going to land you somebody who like wants to feel like they feel conquered.
Right.
Something. But I also know people who are like, if he likes me, like he's trash because I'm trash. Like why would he like me? So I also know sometimes it's like a self-esteem thing where people will like only hook up with somebody who isn't very into them because they're like, I'm garbage, and they know I'm garbage, so it works. But it's
Yeah.
likes and they're like, what's wrong with this person? How could they possibly like me?
Makes sense. When should we give up on chasing you? At what point is that Corey, to get your pen ready on this one?
I think that's really tough because I think that it's so person dependent. I think that's also where communication is really important because like if somebody actually is accurately communicating that they're not interested in you, you should not be pursuing them. But
Makes sense.
it's really difficult to tell with some people. And like I also know a lot of people who are really hyperbolic and will be like, never text me again. And then they'll come to me like a few hours later and they'll be like, why hasn't he texted me? And like, well, who told him to never text you again? And she was like, I was feeling that way then, but I don't feel that way now. And it's like, okay. And that drives me crazy because I don't know what to do to help people like that except for if you want to be in a successful like actual like relationship, you want someone who's grown up enough to communicate anyway. So like if you're super clear with communication, they'll be more clear. And like if they seem like they really aren't interested, you should give it up like right away, in my opinion. If they seem like they are trying to play games, I think it's fine to like try a little longer, just don't go too far.
And I think that's something that, generally speaking, as you get older, you kind of get out of those games.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you know what you want more, and you reach a point where, not that you're like ready to fully settle down, get married, have kids yet, but you're ready to get into that more serious relationship, and you're just tired of all the bullshit that comes with the games. Yeah, and I think some of that's an age thing too, and a maturity, I should say.
Yeah. And as a old soul / lazy communicator, I already am like, I can't handle this. I can't play games. I'm gonna be transparent.
Yep. Absolutely. And there was something else too. I completely lost. I don't know. I lost where. All right. So, how? This is kind of funny. How often do you notice when guys try to be subtle about checking you out?
Always, probably always.
Do you even care? And I think a lot of us guys believe that we're pretty good about getting away with it. However, I think that we're not, but it's not really brought up.
I think that it's much more obvious than people think it is, especially when people like put on sunglasses and think no one can tell. And it's like because we are because of like, oh my god, now I'm forgetting the words that I was. But we know when people know when they're being watched. Like that's just something that develops with humanity. So the same way that if you're walking in the dark and you think you see things, like your brain is always trying to pick up on those little things. So I think it's like generally like not very difficult to tell if somebody's checking you out, especially if you're not making excuses for why you think somebody wouldn't be checking you out. Because I think there are people who will like discredit it. But I also think like it doesn't really matter. Like it's always an ego boost, I think, as long as someone's not being weird. To be like, people thought I was cute. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But following around aisle to aisle.
That's an issue. Like if you're trying to be subtle, she probably notices, but she probably doesn't feel negatively about it.
It makes sense. I've been busted, looking before. I did I acted like I was looking at an end cap at a store.
Yeah.
And then I let her walk by. My wife was ahead of me, and then I did one of those look backs. And when I look back forward, she's turned around looking straight at me like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I'm like, no, I thought I saw someone I knew. She's like, yeah, I knew what you were doing. So it definitely gets noticed, I think, a lot more than we think it does. I don't think we really have the capability of being too subtle about it. But
so what are some things that women like and dislike about men? Like top things.
Yeah, I think good smell is important. I think, and it's like partially biological, like pheromones. Like when you smell a smell that you like, you're attracted to it. And on the flip side, if somebody smells gross, if somebody looks like they're not clean, like it's really important to look and seem clean. I'm trying to think. I think it's important to be like very polite, like not overly polite, but I think it's nice to be like somebody who is very clearly not a dirtbag. And I think it's like genuinely things like holding the door, being nice to strangers, how like I pay attention to like how do you talk to the wait staff at a restaurant, like things like that. Like if someone's an asshole to other people, you're gonna notice and you're gonna be like, this person's an asshole. I think little things like that can be really big. Just the way you like hold yourself, I think is really important. I think that like that's where confidence is sexy, where you can really, and I think that's where it is obvious, and it's in little things, and posture can change how you feel, but it's about yourself and about somebody else. If you want somebody else to feel connected with you, you want to mimic their body language, because then they feel listened and you feel like you're on the same wavelength. So if someone's crossing their arms, you want to cross your arms. If somebody like is leaning forward, you want to lean forward. Have your feet pointed at the person you're talking to. Like little things like that. I think most people don't consciously notice, but if you're like paying attention to it, you realize that that's actually what you're really interested in. I think one other really big thing is like, does somebody actually hear the things you're saying?
Right.
As was probably made obvious over the last 49 minutes, 10 seconds, talk a lot, like so much. And I think by now, like I have friends who will halfway through like something I'm saying, be like, I actually am not paying attention right now. I'm eavesdropping. Can you be quiet for a second? And like to me, that's funny and fine. But at the very beginning of a relationship or of any kind, even if it's like hooking up, if somebody is like actually interested in what you're saying and listening enough to like comment on it, and especially like calling back in the future, like if you're like, oh, how was that interview? Like,
Right,
oh, I
right.
saw this thing and it reminded me of you. Oh, I remember you didn't see this movie. Like the trick my boyfriend used that he recommended later to his friends and probably had recommended before that to his friends is like on a first date, thinking of something that you would want to do on a second date. It's like, oh, you haven't seen this movie you want to see, or this TV show, or you wanted to eat at this restaurant, and then using that in the future, just like comedians would call that. It makes someone feel like heard and listened to, and like you care about what they care about, and like that connection can be so easily kind of faked almost, just by
Right.
paying attention and like noting it to yourself. And beforehand being like, oh, I remember, like she is a sister. This is like, I think those little things like you can do without them, it will be fine without them, but it like it's such a plus to be like, oh, I like feel really connected to this person and they seem like they really care. Like I think those are the little things where people will be like, guys are so like not thoughtful. That is the whole change. It's just paying a little bit more attention very, very early on. Get to very quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So one last thing.
Yeah.
If you could give advice to guys right now, you have, say, every guy's attention at this moment. What
Okay.
would be the one thing that you would want to tell them?
Okay. I think hello all men. I think the main thing is remember that like women are full people and not objects. We have an entire world in our heads and we're trying to figure shit out. And like you need to really try to understand it or at least respect it and recognize that like even if we seem like we're going wackadoo, like we are probably trying really hard. So know to some extent that like people have called women crazy for a really long time. People have used women for their bodies for a really long time. Like there are all of these systemic things that we internalize that make it really hard to be. And like just kind of remember that in being a human being, but also in a relationship, and remembering that like women tend to work really, really hard at the little invisible things like we talked about earlier on. With like even down to how will I do my hair, what will I wear, how did I cook this thing, remembering the little details like that tends to be stereotypically womanly actions. And like try to notice them. Try to notice the little things that people do and acknowledge what that they're like full people with like full internal lives. And people will probably be super impressed by that because it's not done almost ever. Like I know that I sometimes like I could not find another man as good as my boyfriend because I think that he is so woke. And I think that like he still teaches me things and I'll be like, does this look okay? Do you think it's okay if I wear this? And he's like, it's your body. Like wear what you want. Like he's just like very encouraging and I think like really respects who I am as a person. And I find that really like wonderful and important, but I also find it like sexy. Like I think that there's something really awesome about somebody who like understands who you are even before they understand who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very wise words there. I saw Corey taking notes too, so that's good. Yeah. So no, awesome. Audrey, I appreciate you coming on tonight. All the honest answers. I think it's great. I think this is a lot of stuff that honestly, if a lot of guys would pay attention to, things would be a lot better.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to do our part to make guys better.
And us too. All of this helped me a lot more because I'm the one that's not married.
That is true. That is true. So, Clap the Clown says, I'm confident that I'm not sexy,
Own that. Be okay with that.
but
I was
confident.
for a long time I wasn't sexy, that I was cute, and I was like, that's fine. I can
Yeah.
own cute. Like own whatever it is you feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he says, confidence is sexy, though. So, I think those are actually very wise words. So, but yeah, Audrey, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I think it was a real fun impromptu night, not completely unscripted and just like, hey, let's try this out. And I appreciate you throwing yourself to the wolves here and helping out and giving us all your honest opinions. So is there anything that you want to say to anyone or?
Yeah, if you would like to hear more of my hot takes about gender, sexuality, romance, anything, check out my podcast, Lights, Camera, Analysis, where we talk about all that shit in relation specifically to blockbusters. So we dropped one today about Get Out, and the female gaze and the male gaze, not the female gaze. I love the female gaze though, not GAYS. Although I do love lesbians, but also the white gaze. So check it out.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
and when I get this all recorded and everything, I will also tag you in it. Do you have like an Instagram or Facebook that people can follow you at?
Yeah, at Lights Camera Analysis we have Instagram and Facebook by like the same page.
Okay, awesome. Who does the podcast with you?
So I run it myself, and then I have different guests on each week.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, I have one on Harry Potter with like an 11-year-old child, and then I have one coming up with like a 57-year-old TED talker. So it runs the gambit.
It's very diverse. Yeah. So awesome. No, that's great. So hey, thank you so much for joining tonight. And yeah, so everyone listen to her podcast, Lights Camera Analysis. And yeah, follow her on Instagram, Facebook, all the good stuff. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, there we have it. You know, it's I saw you taking some good notes there. Some good stuff, right?
Yep.
So what'd you think?
I think that's all that information was helpful.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of it I already did.
You're an exception. So no, I think that's a lot of good stuff. I think, you know, generally speaking, if you know, guys for the most part get in tune with what their women want and how they operate, and it'll make a much healthier, longer lasting relationship.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
And get rid of all the bullshit and all the games, you know. Get rid of the toxic people in the relation, not, you know, in your surrounding relationships. You know, and those type of things will really lead to a much healthier, long lasting relationship as well. You know, I know that we've had to remove some toxic people from our surrounding, you know, people we interacted with. And in doing so, sometimes it's tough, even when it's family or friends or something. If they're toxic to your relationship and cause a strain on your relationship, you have to get rid of them. You know, you have to, because that strain will eventually filter in to your relationship. You know, your own personal relationship with your, you know, your intermediate family as well. So, yeah, I thought it was some good stuff though. I'm definitely very appreciative that she answered everything very honestly, you know.
And if there's definitely more information about this stuff on her podcast, I'm definitely watching it.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, check it out. You know, it's you know, a big thanks to Audrey tonight for joining in on us. You know, like I said, it was very impromptu. I literally, we did was I just put a post out there on Facebook, like, hey, look for someone to join this. We're trying to get inside the woman's psyche, you know, about men. And she was the first one that said, hey, you know, I'll do it. So I was like, oh, shit, all right, come join. So, you know, it's, I thought it was great, you know, Great Wolves Bane. I think I have a feeling I know, is that Craig?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
Dylan.
Huh?
Dylan.
Oh.
Close though.
Yep. So, but yeah, no, it's good stuff here. And you know, if you're just joining in or something, you know, feel free to, you know, rewind back through. And you know, we asked a lot of good questions that, essentially, some questions that I pulled up that basically men don't really ask women a lot. Some of them, you know, some of them it was pretty like me. I'll ask my wife anything. I don't care. So some of those things I knew the answers to, but it's like literally some of the questions that came up, But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so feel free to rewind it, watch it in. Um, I forget how he says it. Like, share, hit the bell to be
Hit the
notified of
bell.
future episodes, new episodes. Share, like. You can listen to us on now. We just got on to as well iHeartRadio, so that's a nice one there.
Winning.
Winning. Yeah, so we're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and Castbox. So you can find our episodes all on there. Feel free to like, subscribe, send us questions, stories, anything. You can email me at megabossdad@gmail.com, or you can email Creepy Corey at Coredog, COREDOG93 @gmail.com. So thank you for joining us, everyone, and have a safe, yes.
Hope.
Yep.
We told them. I know this is very last minute, but we told them we would have an update.
Yes. I
from
forgot
my
about
date.
that. Yep. So Corey, with the date that we set up, was 2 weeks ago. We set that up for last weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
So we set up Corey, and we could say her name because she joined the podcast.
Yep.
So we
her real name is Emily, not
Emily.
Emilio.
So yeah, so 2 weeks on our podcast, we had Emily join us, and I got Emily to agree to go out on a date with Corey, and we were trying to make sure that the date actually, we were like, oh, this was a great question. I wish we had that one. That would have been a great one to ask.
It would have been great.
Like a Yeti, never seen or heard it. That is true. And the funny thing is, I never hear my wife fart at all, ever. So I'm pretty lucky in that. I had a girlfriend once who, as soon as she started farting around me, it was done. It was over. I couldn't do it anymore. Anyway, so back on track.
It doesn't bug me.
What if she can out fart you?
I give her a high five.
Well, you're a better man than me. So 2 weeks ago we set up the date, and so last Sunday they went out to.
Yep.
They did go out. She remembered because I know she was drinking that night of the podcast. They ended up going out to a restaurant. So Corey, you want to tell us how the date went?
I did let her choose the restaurant, and she did actually choose it. And it was really good restaurant. I will say that. She made a good choice. They had spot on drinks. And if I went there after eating food beforehand, I would have had more than one drink. But since I went there on an empty stomach, I was like, one drink is good. Then afterwards, we're getting ready to leave. She asks me, hey, are you going home right after this? And I said, most likely, yeah. Then she said she's going down to the boulevard. I'm just like, what is that?
Oh, the boulevard. It's like,
and it's literally it's a walking path along this river. And I was just like, you want me to go? And she goes, no, if you want to. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll go. And she goes, my car or yours? I'm just like, well, you can take mine. You'll just have to tell me where to go. So we went walking along the river. We were there for maybe close to an hour, if not an hour. Then afterwards, I drive her back to her car. And after 2 years of knowing this girl, and after 2 years of having strong feelings and always going back to this girl, I hope she's not watching this. Finally got my first kiss with her.
I mean,
Holy shit.
you know, that right there is totally winning.
Winning.
Yeah. For me, not for her. I mean, look. Oh, sorry. I mean, I'm beautiful. Confidence is sexy.
Our condolences for her. No, good. So, and then you guys hung out again.
Yep, we just hung out actually with you and your family this past weekend.
Yep. Day of the
The
night.
whole weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
And it seemed to go well.
And it was nice. It was nice. It was fun.
Yeah.
And like you said, unlike
The
the last one, she's outgoing. She's actually very communicative.
Communicative. She's
What?
going to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was,
Which is good.
It is, and it makes it a lot more easy and fun for like us as well, because we're not sitting there trying to draw, pull conversation from her.
Right.
You can always count on him for the good comments. Yeah.
Woman's butt musk. That is, I like that.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier for time to go when you have someone that is including themselves, and they're like, she got along great with the kids, and
she loved your kids.
Yeah, she's laughing along with us, and it made it so it wasn't like awkward at all.
Right.
When you have someone, previous people, that we've all had, it's like you're trying to, it's not like there's conversation. It's like you're asking questions and they're answering like very short yes, no, and it's like you're trying to draw questions, answers from them, trying to force conversation. It's like small talk, and it sucks.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But yeah, it went great, and I thought, you guys seem to have a good time as well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think next weekend is, we're gonna have round 3.
Round 3.
Yep, shooting off some fireworks and
didn't scare her off yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Third time's a charm.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah, true. Hopefully not. So, I want to see if I can. I think I just found it here. It's the closing. Let's see. Tell me if you hear this.
Feel free to like, comment, and share with friends and family. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you can get notified for new episodes. Don't forget to search us on Facebook and Instagram and follow us.
Oh, your daughter, son.
See, that's how that's how I can remember how to say it.
Yep.
I gotta get it on paper, and so I can read it sometime. So yeah, so
maybe we should get this Clap the Clown on our podcast sometime.
I think I think we could get Clap the Clown. Why is it Clap the Clown? Does he have the clap? Yeah, I think we should definitely get him on here sometime, So we'll but yeah, so next week, we'll hang out. We're gonna shoot off a whole bunch of friggin' fireworks and have a good time.
Which with that. Fireworks apparently make her anxious, but I'll be there for her.
Yep, absolutely. Be there to comfort her and hold her tight. So but yeah, so thank you everyone for joining in, and once again,
feel free to like, comment, and share with friends and family. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you can get notified for new episodes. Don't forget to search us on Facebook and Instagram and follow us.
That's so much easier. Probably more inviting than my voice or your voice. So but yeah, so feel free to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you all in a week and give you some updates on how the 4th goes. So we'll give you some more updates on Corey's love life. So, all right, everyone, be safe and have fun. Peace.
Have a safe 4th.
Yes, don't blow yourselves up. Don't let kids light the fireworks. Let the adults who have been drinking do it.
Exactly.
All right, good night and stay safe.